Tonight, the first Titan we are recognizing is Dr. Chris Benner from UCSC. Dr. Chris Benner's groundbreaking work champions equity and economic opportunity by reshaping narratives and policies to highlight collaboration and mutuality. Challenging neoliberal norms, his solidarity economics framework has driven transformative initiatives like the Salinas Inclusive Economic Development Initiative and the statewide Community Economic Mobilization Initiative, and helped influence California's $600 million Jobs First program, fostering justice, innovation, and impact. Dr. Chris Benner.
Wow, okay, this is totally intimidating. I'm not used to getting awards. Honestly, I think the last time I got an award was in first grade when everyone got an award for showing up. But here I am, a Titan. Can't you see? You know, I actually put into ChatGPT, like, could you draw an image of, like, what I should look like as a Titan? And, you know, I need to bulk up quite a bit, actually. Maybe get a cape or something. But no, I really appreciate the acknowledgement of our work. And, you know, when people typically think about titans of tech, you know, we think about Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. And one of the things I've really, I know, yeah, that's what I love about Santa Cruz. You know, it's also what I love about Santa Cruz Works, because since its founding, Santa Cruz Works has understood that the tech industry and economic prosperity is not driven by individuals. It's driven by a community, it's driven by the social networks and the support that that drives and creates overall. Now, let me ask, how many of you have had the misfortune of taking an economics course at some time in your history? Yeah, okay, that's a pretty good number. So you probably learned that traditional economics is modeled on individual actors who respond to price signals in black boxes we call markets that are competitive, and we're about maximizing our utility, right? Now, how many people think that really describes the real world? Right? And yet that is what dominates our understanding of the economy. So our work on solidarity economics, and I say our because this concept and narrative framing and framework emerges from 30 years of research and work with community organizations, labor unions, social justice groups, and other researchers who are really have been trying to document the ways that investment in equity, investment in mutuality actually leads to better economic prosperity, even in traditional economic terms, much less the social and human terms that, you know, we all care about. And yet, a lot of that academic research ends up going into peer-reviewed journal articles and books that a handful of people read. And so the question is, how do we help spread that concept and understanding of really common sense economics to a broader public and a broader set of decision makers that can really make a difference? So we wrote this book, Solidarity Economics, and Thomas was joking with me that, oh, I'm going to read chapter 5 of this book, because that's really what a traditional economist might do. But we're trying to demystify economics, right? It's a friendly cover, garden, you know, et cetera. There's 3 central points to this concept. You can read the book if you like. It's actually free for download on our website, solidarittyeconomics.org. That's our solidarity with our readers. But there's 3 concepts. One is we should always talk about our economy, not the economy. Economies don't exist in nature. Markets don't follow fundamental rules of, you know, physics or chemistry. We create them. And the values that we put in those markets and our economy is what shapes outcomes. And so our economy doesn't work at the moment for many, many, many people. And yet, if we talk about our economy, we can change it. Here's point 2. Mutuality matters, right? And our economy is built as much on cooperation, collaboration, and caring as it is competition. But our neoliberal, it's tough to say that word, blinders focused on that individualness doesn't recognize mutuality. My favorite example of this, I'm a sports fan, I follow all the major sports leagues. Every major sports league has salary caps. They have revenue sharing agreements where the teams in the big market cities share the revenue with other teams. They have systems where the teams that perform the worst get to draft the best talent for the next year. Because they recognize when we minimize inequality, we produce a better product, produce a better economy, right? And that mutuality is built into all of our economic activity, right? Santa Cruz Works, tech industry, the accommodation industry that drives some of this region, et cetera. And we know from lots of research that places that are more equitable actually do better economically than places that are more unequal. But here's the third point. Those sports leagues didn't get to that understanding of their economic structure on their own. They got there because the players' union demanded it. Right? Movements, that's the other part of this book cover. There's a protest there on the bottom. Our economy exists in the way it does today because of power relations and unequal power relationships. And so whenever we talk about economic development, we need to be addressing those unequal power relationships. And we talk about weavers, the kind of work that Santa Cruz Works does and trying to build ties across silos and connections and bring us all together. That's really critical work. Sometimes you also need the warriors, the people who are in the streets protesting against the bad things going on and trying to prevent further worse things. And for those of us who get uncomfortable sometimes with those protests, I think the best way to think about it is that's the check engine light on the engine of our economy. And rather than dismissing it, how do we use that as a warning to figure out how do we address the problems that are creating that? So that's the concept. You can read the book. We also have created on the website PDF versions of a comic book. So share it with your kids, share it with whoever. It's in Spanish also. There are videos that explain the concepts in more popular terms. There's reports that link Solidarity Economics Framework to how we should address housing, public health. We're coming out with one soon on early childhood education. So lots of great work going on. That framework is being used, as was mentioned, in community development work in Salinas, statewide, some national and international work as well. So love to talk with any of you afterwards, and thank you, Santa Cruz Works, for honoring this kind of collective mutuality. I deeply appreciate it.